Up traders, welcome to VinnBoss Signal Factory. Today we will welcome you only to give you the weekly Forex forecast of the week ahead, which is the week from the 16th to the 20th of June. Now, without wasting further time, this was last week's signal. If you were not part of this buy signal last week, please make sure that you join our Telegram channel. Make sure you get the excuse me. Make sure you get our signals and make sure that you understand or go back and back test our signals. And without wasting further time, going into this week, I think the market already has uh, bounced from this area right here. From which area, this area, we might also go and look for a buying opportunity if we get a retracement again like this one. And then from this area, we might also go and buy. This will be a nice place to buy, but if we do not get such, the market continues up, we might see this area right here becoming the broken resistance, turning support, and then continuing to the upside as if this is a buy like this. So without wasting further time, this is my analysis on the euro dollar going into next week. And if you have a problem getting in, if you want real-time signals, please make sure that you join part of our group, our Telegram group. We mostly give signals on Telegram group. We also have testimonials of people who are working with us, who have just registered, but that are still working with us, trying to join. And trust me, the results are far better than sitting alone and not understanding what the market is. So without wasting majority of your time, let's go back to the pound and the US dollar. So moving on to the pound and the dollar is still the same. We are following the rules of correlation, and with the rules of correlation, we are so certainly assured that we might get a pullback down to retest this area of support or of liquidity right at 1.3543 and 1.3537. Now, this around this area right here, as you can see previously in the past, the market has retested sharply and continued to the upside. Now, if we were to get right there for the last time in this week, we might be looking for great opportunities to go long. Yet, if this does not happen this way, if we do not get a pullback, if this other times, the 4 times that the market has reached this area right here, we find the fact that we are continuing to the upside. This might be the case, breaking above this area right here, and then continue retesting, and then continuing to the upside. And as we would continue to the upside, we would move our risk to reward ratio to 1:3. Remember, I get a lot of questions on whether this should be uh 1:3, 1:5, which risk to reward ratio. We do risk to reward ratio depending on the kind of setup and the highest probability of setup that we do. If we have broken above the previous uh, broken resistance, which will turn support, or the previous support now turning resistance, we usually go for 1:3. But if this is a buy at a liquidity zone, we usually go for the new low or the new high. But that all is explained in our Telegram group if you join us and register. So without wasting further time, we are aware of one thing: the pound is much weaker than the euro, given the fact that in the middle of the week, in the beginning of the first 2 days in this week, um, we had, excuse me, the market go to that level, and then the continuation up, and then this was the CPI, and then the days came the next 2 days. This was our setup from last week. So despite the fact that the pound is weaker than the euro, correlation still played out very perfect, as we have broken above this area here, which was our resistance area on Tuesday, and now it has turned into support, and it has passed below the support line here, as you can see, going straight to our liquidity line. If I may, I would yes, going straight to our liquidity line here, and this will allow us to make sure that we see, as I've already indicated before, that this was our resistance. We have went below it, going here to the liquidity right here on these areas. I hope for one, remember, and after the retest, we are still going higher than we should expect. Maybe break the 1.3650 on going into the next week. So without wasting further time, again, let's go over to the euro and the CAD. Remember, you are getting these signals and forecast for free. We have increased the signals of the free or unregistered membership, and then if you want to get all currency pairs, then please make sure that you register, find your account, and then start joining the team, because all you need is to register and find your team. Contact us here or DM us on YouTube, on Telegram, or on WhatsApp. We leave our details below this video, and then afterwards the continuation to the upside will be much better. Excuse my voice right now, guys. I'm having a very terrible flu. First is what it was my two sons, now it's me. But without wasting further time, let's go over to the euro and the Canadian dollar. So thank you. And with the euro and the CAD, it is similarly what I've just mentioned with both the euro and the dollar and the pound and the dollar. We can see that the euro pairs are much stronger than the pound pairs. We will see that evidently here. And without wasting further time, let's go over to the analysis and figure out what is our next move. Now, without wasting further time, this right here is already our liquidity zone. But if the market were to go a bit deeper again to test the broken resistance turning support, because we are looking for bullish opportunities, this would be the case whereby 1.5663 would be our broken resistance turning support. And with that being said, we can still be looking for bullish opportunities. Now this one is the scenario whereby we will not be looking for what is to 3, but we will be looking for a new high. So without wasting further time, this is our bias on the euro and the Canadian dollar. Remember, if you're not registered, make sure that you register, you find your account, and start winning with us every week like we have. Okay, another thing that I would like to mention is that if you look closely, you will see that the strength of the euros are very strong. So the euro benefited more on Tuesday with the CPI news being lower than expected. So with that being said, this was the results for the next 2 days, and then on Friday we had this small decline, which we can also call a pullback or a retest wave. So without wasting further time, I want you to pay attention to the euro strength versus the pound strength. Now we have just gone into the Canadian dollar currency. Also, the Canadian dollar is not as weak as the dollar, so hence you will see some of the currency pairs responding different in regards to the strength of the euro and the pound. The next currency pair that we are going to is the pound and the Canadian dollar. The pound and the Canadian dollar also is the true reflection of trading currencies solely based on their own individual strength. So this would be another setup that we have to look on to going into next week, from the week of the 16th of June to the 20th of June. So without wasting further time, let's go over to our pound and Canadian dollar. And here we are with the pound and the Canadian dollar. This is the scenario whereby we will all realize that trading pairs on their individual merits is by far the best situation that we can ever deal with, because you don't have to do correlation where there's no correlation. We have seen that the euro has been far stronger than the pound, and it is evident in the price action also. So going into next week, what I'm expecting to see is, here I'm looking for selling opportunities. I'm not looking for buying opportunities. The only time I will be looking for buying opportunities is if we break this level right here, which is the level of 1.8573. Now that is the only level. If we break above it, then we will still be looking for buying opportunities. But in the meantime, we are looking for bearish patterns and formations, and this is the outlook that I'm looking for beginning from Monday. Now what I would like to see is a retest of these two levels right here, 1.8497, 1.8477. If we do get bearish patterns and formation, we will go down below to this level here right here, 1.8411. Now that level right there, it is our main target going into next week. And if you are not understanding why I would buy the euro card but sell the pound card, it is based solely on the strength. As you can see, the Canadian dollar has much more strength than the pound and than the pound. So without wasting further time, we have had the first wave in the beginning of the week where the Canadian dollar sprang over the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar has sprung over the pound, and then on Tuesday, on Wednesday, the CPI came through for this currency pair, which is the pound and the euro, because the dollar, in its short, it was seen as weaker, printing the data that is weaker than expected. So that led to the strong momentum of the pound, but it was not enough to break above this high, which we've already mentioned here, which is 1.8573. So the Canadian dollars immediately on Thursday and on Friday showed its strength, going it down to make a new low at 1.8411. Now this week we are also looking for this area right here for proper and stable bearish patterns and formations to continue downward right here to this level of 1.8411. Now this is the analysis. I hope you understand that the Canadian dollar is much more stronger than the pound. Hence this is the outlook going into this week. And if we do happen by some scenario that we do have this without a break, we break above this area that we have highlighted as this two area here, we break above it. Let me clear this up so that I can make a clear understanding. If we were to break above this level right here like this, without any stop indicating the strength of the pound, similar to this one on Wednesday last week, then we might be looking for a continuation to the upside. Yet if we do not see any strength that is straightly shooting up to break this 1.8573, we would not be looking for any bullish setups. So I hope I made myself clear. The only thing that would make us go for the longs is if we get a strong momentum from this level to break up this target and this target without any pullbacks. A strong momentum like this one on Wednesday, and then that would significantly tell us that the market is ready to move to the upside, or the dollar has gained more strength than the Canadian dollar. Now we go over to analyze both pairs that we were talking about from the beginning of the euro dollar, which will be the euro and the pound to see which one is more strong and which one is more or less. It will be depicted there, but given the fact that I'm saying the pound is weaker than the euro, we should see some strong euros versus the pound. Let's go over to our euro and pound pair. And the euro and the pound, it is evident enough that the pound has been weak from Tuesday onwards, and this is the scenario that we are expecting from this pair. Now, without wasting further time, let me show you what I'm talking about. You can see that this is a move without any pullback. I would not consider this a pullback. I do not consider that. Yet, if you were to go a little bit further down to retest this area here or retest this area here, this will also be a great opportunity for us to go long on the euro and the pound. Now, this right here shows the weakness of pound and how strong the euro is compared to other currencies, more especially the pound, which is why you can see the euro dollar being stronger, the pound dollar being strong but almost close to neutral. You can see the euro card being strong, and you can see the card and the pound being very weak. The currency is selling off, and even going into next week, I'm still looking for shorts. So when and if this pound short plays out next week, the same time that I'll be looking for a buy from this area, it will also be the same time that I'm looking for a sell in the the, the pound Canadian dollar, or the buy in euro and other currencies. So let's hope next week plays out very fantastic so that we can show you the results. And remember, you still need to register. After registering, you fund your account, and then after funding your account, you are good to go. You register for free. You register with our broker XNS. We will show you the registration step by step if you're having problems registering. But if you do not have a problem registering alone, then you can register after the registration. So as the proof of registration, fund your account and then start receiving these fantastic signals. So this is the weakness of pound and the strength of uh, the euro. So this is another scenario that I want to make sure that you guys get and understand. If we were to break above here and retest this little area here of 1.08516, we can still be looking for bullish setups at this area to continue even higher than making a new high. So this is it. This is our base concept on the euro and the pound. The pound is relatively weaker across all the currency pairs, and the euro is relatively strong against the majority of the pairs. So last but not least, we will compare the dollar and the Canadian dollar as our last currency pair of the week, whereby all the currency pairs will be matched and compared by a strength and individually, so that you can understand how these signals are being given to you. So each and every pair that we have just um, analyzed on this video, it is strategically made for you to understand and see that how correlation is being used, how smart money concepts is being used, and the rest you can see. If we have a channel like this, we can break and then continue to the upside. This is my maybe the analysis that might show out, but overall What I'm expecting is to see a retest of what I'm expecting to see is a retest of this area, or number two, this area, to continue going up and to continue going up from these two areas right here. Now, if we do get this, excuse me, if we do get this kind of setups, then yes, the market will be very fortunate for us. It will be favoring us in our setups. But remember, the only time that we will be looking for selling opportunities in this pair is only when we are below this area right here, 1 point excuse me 0.84140. This is the only level that we will be looking for bearish setups. If we break strictly and sharply below it without any retest, it will be either of the two reasons that I'm giving after. The first being the pound being extremely stronger than any currency pair going into next week. Secondly, it can either be uh, the euro losing its bias and the pound gaining momentum over it. But for now, we do not see that happening. The only thing that we are interested in is looking for buys around this area and around this area to turn our profits. So let's go over to the last but not least currency pair, which is the pound and I'm sorry, not the pound, but the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. And last but not least, we have the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. Now, as we can see, the strength of the Canadian dollar has been significant since Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It has continued going downwards like this. Now, without wasting further time, what I'm expecting is to see a pullback to this first area right here, which is 1.3644, and then look for short opportunities to go to 1.3565. Yet, if we do have a continued pullback, which might reach 1.3668 right here, we will still be looking for bearish patterns and formations to go down to our same area to make the new low of the week, which is 1.333565. Now, without wasting further time, this is the setup that I was trying to show you. The Canadian dollar has been strong against the euro, not the euro, but the GBP and the USD, right? The USD has the USD has been weak against all currency pairs, and the let me start that down so that you can see what I'm trying to do right now. The euro is strong against every currency pairs, right? The dollar is weak against all currency pairs. The pound is weak against all currency pairs, and the Canadian dollar is mid, it is neutral. It is strong, but not stronger than uh, the euro. It is strong against the dollar and the pound, but not against all currency pairs. So, with that being said, the greatest shorts of the week are going to be against the pound and against the euro, and the greatest buy are with the euro pairs, right? Because they are a bit stronger in all essence. Now, remember, the thing that we have to look for this week, I do repeat, since the Canadian dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar is stronger than um, the US dollar, we will be looking for a pullback to this area here. This will be area 1, and then to go down to 1.3565, or if this is a continued pullback, we will go to here and then continue down to 1.3565, or even break below this area right here. So without wasting further time, this is our target for this week, and if we do break below, this will mean good setups for us. But if we do have a strong momentum like this that breaks below, that breaks above the level of 1.3719, that means that the dollar strength will be back. Going into the following week, we will be buying the dollar. But since the political reasons of Donald Trump imposing tariffs on other countries has been bad on the dollar, I think that the dollar weakness will continue uh, going into the next week, given the fact that even the CPI has been so. If I'm not mistaken, usually next week it will be the interest rate decision week, and we might see some rate cuts. If we do see some rate cuts, the dollar strength will automatically go fly away. We will go straight to selling the dollar again. So without wasting further time, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do have questions, ask me in the comments, or DM me or WhatsApp me, so that you can have a clear understanding of what we are doing here, or how this analysis is being taken out. Without wasting further time, happy trading to all traders out there who are new, and those who are not new but struggling with consistency. Happy Sunday, guys. Thank you.